very good. They've won 5 of the last 6 by an average of 47 points. And this afternoon, they're trying to make it 10 in a row in season 2012.
So Reed is sliding up alongside Matthew Pavlich. We get things going. Griffin with the first touch on the football from the rucks. It was Pearce on the bottom of that pack for a long time. He goes in again and will have another bounce inside the centre circles.
Already, Baz, we're seeing both sides setting up defensively. We've got Heath Shaw playing on a half-back. He's let his direct opponent go up to the stoppage, and conversely, it's Michael Johnson for Fremantle filling a hole in the back line for the Dockers.
Umpires today, Donlan, Jeffrey and Mitchell. Interesting there that Barlow did the ruck work. Out to Ballantyne. Now the football with Mzungu to Griffin, the genuine ruckman in the side. He sends Fremantle forward in the Clark direction. There might have been a free kick forward of that contest. Main down to Ibbotson. His kick was well smothered. That was well done by Tuvey. Buckley in there trying to win the football for Collingwood. Tuvey goes in again. Former Claremont player, and the ball will be bounced this time.
Interesting with Crowley starting the bench, and I think what he'll do is he'll sit off and just watch and not allow the player he's going to go to double team him.
Holding the arm, Darren Jolly. Hold by the arm.
So Darren Jolly, just over 50 games now for his 3rd club. Goes forward in the Doors direction. Across the front, Robin was okay. Ball spills to the boys, tackled by a couple of Pies. It's hard going early on to get any clear movement of the ball.
Mike.
As we alluded to earlier,
Thanks,
the 7th debutant for the Pies, Caelan Mooney. He's wearing the sub-vest. C. Mooney for the Pies. Who would have thought it?
And we've just seen that move of Crowley coming on, and he's gone straight to his direct opponent. And in this case, it is, in fact, Beams.
Jolly, very good to Swan. Quick give to Wellingham. Long ball. Cloak, he's got a couple of Dockers to beat Silvani after a tough weekend last Saturday night. Just uses a couple. Robertson does well. Intercepted in the end. Ibbotson, well done. Swan spills De Boer. Ibbotson ends up with it. A long ball. Pavlich will go over his head. Reed will get back with a flick. Clark intercepts. Did really well. Couldn't take it. Good at ground level. Comes back. Crowley just measures the kick to Pavlich. It'll bounce, and it bounces badly for Pav. Back now to Brown, and then the tumbling ball to Wellingham's okay.
Just need to be a bit cleaner going forward, Fremantle.
Wellingham, a long ball. Dawes again. He's got a bit of help. This time Payne's around with Dawes. It spills to Thomas. His season gets better week after week. Now to Cloak. He's got a one-on-one with McFarlane. Griffin gives a bit of support. McPhee, he mops up, and Subin will go onto his left boot. Tackled. Goldsack forces the error. Subin will end up with it, and he squeezes the kick to the outer side. Well done in the end. Brought to ground by Buckley. Still half a chance for the Pies. They've got numbers. Side bottom. O'Brien. He'll kick, and he'll find his man. And Goldsack will go back and try and kick the first of the afternoon. Well, Beams has been hot all afternoon. We see him running into a bit of trouble underneath Crowley. The result at the punt road end is Tyson Goldsack from 20 metres. And he's offline. Hits the upright. First score of the afternoon to the Pies, but it's not what they wanted. Kirky.
Yeah, that first stoppage, Crowley came straight to Beams. They actually ran into each other. I think the contact was accidental. They both got up rubbing their heads. But they've done the concussion test, and it looks like he might have a bit of a sore jaw, Beams.
Now, Michael Johnson paid the advantage there. Dylan Robertson, not 100% sure what's going on, but fortunately he had marked the football, so play was able to stop. Now, a little more clearly, goes to Mundy, and Mundy marks on the defensive 50. Long ball, Zach Clark the target. He got underneath the football, tried to knock it towards his team's advantage. Well done by Barlow, away from O'Brien. Here's Crowley. He's been busy since he's come on lower. Dived on top of the football. It fell to Swan. Quick kick out of the pack towards the wing. Here's Clark again. Tough one to handle against Thomas. It falls to Wellingham. High ball, not a great handball. It was knocked backwards to Robertson. He gets it on okay. Silvani's clearing kick towards the wing. At the back, very good attempt to mark by Brown. Not paid the mark. Broughton at ground level wrapped up, and the football will be bounced just forward of the wing. This was the free kick on the kick out from Michael Johnson.
Griffin, Jolly wins it down. No easy clearance. Griffin ends up doing a bit of roving, goes to ground, and then you see what's happened.
Thanks, Ryan.
It's a tough one for Crowley now. He's set himself all week for Beams. We just, for his sake, you hope he just doesn't go kick chasing, that they put him to someone else.
Jolly, nice little give to Thomas, but on the scene is lower, drags him to ground. Underneath it all, looks like Fasolo trying to drag the ball clear. That was Blair. And again, hard movement.
Very good structure by both sides. They've got the loose player back, which is not always ideal, but they've positioned themselves in a very good spot to intercept the long ball going in.
Umpire Mitchell then whacks it into the turf. It falls towards Blair. De Boer in there, a couple of hard nuts. Barlow got a handball across to Lower. Lower's handball out of bounds. It'll be tossed in.
Looks like Crowley's gone across to Swan now, so his job doesn't get any easier.
Ross Lyon watching on. Well done, Jolly. Worked his way to the front. Comes out Evanson's way. Looked to be taken high there by Elliott. No free kick. Got a kick away. O'Brien and Ballantyne. O'Brien, he read it well. The handball to Reid was okay. Reid didn't control it particularly well. Sweeps a handball now towards side bottom. Here's Buckley on the wing when he gathers. Kicks towards half forward. And that's a very strong mark by Dawes. Out-muscled Silvani. Got front position and took a strong grab and then chips to the pocket. Swan marks, plays on and kicks the opening goal of the afternoon for Collingwood. So, perfect start for the Magpies. And Dane Swan, after some very good lead-up work by Dawes, it's not been his season so far, just the 4 goals, but that was a very strong grab. It's the Magpies by 7 points early going in the first term.
Well, Brett Kirk made comment of the fact that Ryan Crowley set himself for Dane Beams, moving to Dane Swan. Dane Swan is better than any midfielder, I think, pushing forward, so we need to be better than that.
So the Pies kick the opening goal for the 9th match in a row, and the Dockers just go forward. Bouncing ball, O'Brien. Just watch it sail past. Pavlich, the bounce benefits him. Little give, and over the top goes Crowley. Clark's the target over his head, and Shaw's just happy to skip over the boundary line. So a big match in terms of the season for Fremantle. They came in, as did a host of teams, with a record of 6-6. They've got an issue percentage-wise, though. 29% off the Saints, who have thumped the Suns a couple of times this year. The Pies just work it amongst themselves. Wellingham good to Blair. Blair just draws the play, then squeezes the kick. It was good in the end. In the end, going to ground was Elliott. The give was okay. Wellingham to Beams, who's back on. That'll please Pies fans. Hot as a pistol this year. Marley Williams missed his target. Reid will have to go back and get it. He does okay. Broughton for Sierra, but Shaw picks up, mops up, and suddenly the Pies are away on the outer side. Buckley to Beams. Beams can go over the top in the Dawes direction. McFarlane gets back. Kick didn't favour him and bounces over.
I don't think Crowley actually went to Swan. I think he went to Blair. And now, of course, he's have to run off that now and drop back onto his man. So Beams has actually had the rest. So this will put the test to Crowley whether his stamina is good enough for the next 5 or 6 minutes. Pressure's on.
Beams right up in calculations for the Copeland at the moment, amongst a side that's having a terrific season. So that's testament to how well he's going in 2012.
His work rate before Hamish was extraordinary. Came off the bench and basically put in 100 metres of really top 85, 90% running intensity. Extraordinary effort.
Jolly knocks it down. Jamie Elliott around the place. Mundy gets wrapped up by Fasolo. Does he get rid of it? Umpire says, I'll give him some more time. To Griffin. Thomas reads it well. Off the deck he goes. Quickly to Shaw. Outer side wing. Bouncing, ugly sort of a ball in the end. Won't favour Cloak. Johnson gets a fist to it. Cloak follows up. Somehow finds his man on the outer side in Elliott. Blair from one small guy to another. Blair gets caught. Mundy gets caught as well. Tries to get the kick away. Goldsack. Subin the tackler. Goldsack did well. Dawes terrific. Now to side bottom. Normally pretty clever. This time it's not. It's out of bounds on the full.
The inside 50s are interesting. That Fremantle have gone in more at this stage, but just haven't looked like really cementing that ball. Collingwood with Heath Shaw really has done some damage already by just getting that 2 versus 1.
Dylan Robertson back in the team after some great form with East Perth in the WAFL. Short to Pearce and now McFarlane.
Let's move it on. Play on.
Umpire wants him to go, so Luke with a long kick towards the outer side. Johnson, big fly, not quite paid the mark. He had it a long time. It was a good effort over Dawes and the ball over the line for a throw-in.
Really good setup defensively by Collingwood from the kick in there. It looked a containment zone, which is a combination between a full zone and man-on-man, just providing no avenues for Fremantle to bring the ball out of their defence.
As we saw, Jolly had front position, might have lost it at the last moment. The ball fell at the ruckman's feet, and we're going to have another bounce.
If they pan out here, they'll see 2 Collingwood players in prime positions to get the lateral ball. I just can't understand why Fremantle have got everyone chasing the football and leaving these players free, because they'll do some damage. Collingwood.
Dawes is free, Buckley is free, and Marley Williams is free as well. It comes to Mzungu, who kicks towards the wing. This is an important contest here. Broughton did well against Maxwell. Handball to Crowley. Tackled by Sidebottom, got it to Mzungu, got a handball away, stolen away now by the Magpies. A quick kick out of the pack by Blair. Trying to mark Elliott, couldn't. Johnson carried forward, no free kick. We've got a whistle in there though, this time, second time around.
High tackle, get Sidebottom. Play on.
You heard the explanation from the umpire. So Subin out to McPhee. Back to McFarlane. Robertson again, he's getting a lot of the footy. Dangerous back to McPhee from McFarlane. Subin now tackled. He's going to be claimed and caught for holding the ball.
That really puts your team under pressure. Start of a game when you want to get some confidence, get some quality ball movement, when you're dilly-dallying around with the ball in your back half like this. You know Collingwood at their very best, put on a pressure. That just rocks the team.
Tyson Goldsack with the tackle, but in the end, it wasn't a brilliant tackle necessarily. It was just under complete pressure, and they ran out of room. And these are errors that Fremantle fans have got used to seeing, it's sad to say. So Goldsack for his first of the afternoon, and Collingwood's second. And it's gone right through the middle. The Magpies with a very handy 13-point advantage. Tyson Goldsack with the goal, and Ross Lyon with the problems. And we've seen a couple of times when they've tried to bring the ball out of defence, there's been no fluidity to it. And little wonder, Ross Lyon with the arms folded and asking questions.
This is just typical of Collingwood. When the ball, they love sides to bring the ball back. It's just like feeding the line, if you like. Just put the ball back and then they just crowd you out. It was a great tackle by Tyson Goldsack, and he finished beautifully. So Goldsack's first goal of the afternoon, his 14th this year, 7 in his previous 5 years. And the Pies get the first couple. Fremantle still without a goal. They were goalless in the last term last weekend against the Bombers. They'll be desperate for one soon. O'Brien mops up. Little give, Marley Williams around the corner, terrific, finds Tuvey, fires the handball to Fasolo, quickly inside to Buckley. They've got the run, long ball, Jolly, one out, he loses his feet. McFarlane keeps his, quickly to Subin. Into the middle he goes, diving mark Barlow. Now to the outer side. They're struggling just to get it inside their 50 cleanly. Johnson comes into the middle, lower. Enjoying his second run at AFL football. Maxwell just gets a fist and make it a foot to it. Comes off the shin and spills out. Still really, it plays in Collingwood's hands. You take the ball wide without another alternative, the next kick, and all you're doing is just playing straight into Collingwood's defensive hands. And they're so good at it. Zach Clark, Dawes, going to ground underneath it all was Barlow. He gets held up. Crowley there too.
This is an area of the game that Fremantle have actually been pretty good at this year, is creating stoppages in their forward 50. The challenge has been getting on the burst and actually scoring from these stoppages. It's an opportunity for them right now. Shaw and Maxwell just on the goal side. Clark just tries to knock the ball in the end. Swan, as he often does, grabs it, then loses it.
Tuvey gives a bit of support, and the Pies will hold it up. Maybe Main just tries to extract it, can't.
You're right about the ruck work down here. This is where Jolly's sitting in the forward pocket. This is up to Dawes now against a genuine ruckman. So the pressure's right on this stoppage.
Barlow just a little bit of free time. Couldn't quite knock it where he wanted to. Ends up with Barlow just picking up and lower. Kicks it goal, but Shaw is their last line for the Pies. Handballs over the top to Beams. Shaw will get it back again. And he's got some time, the customary speed and dash off halfback. Goes to Jolly. Fumbles it. They've paid the push, have they? Not the mark. Regardless, Pies will go forward through Jolly. They might go forward in a moment. Backwards to Thomas. Fumbles it. Puts it onto the shin. Maxwell crashes through. Misses Jolly. Buckley's there. Subin first. Maxwell and Jolly. It's a gang tackle and they hold up the white jumper.
We're just going to see some incidental umpire contact here. But that last bit of play you just saw, I think it was 5-on-2. If you ever want a clear image of the intensity of a side, you look at the numbers around the screen. The Collingwood players at the moment just surging on any opportunity they've got. Really impressive start from the Pies.
Just ferocious, wasn't it? A gang tackle. The ball comes down Swan's way. He's getting a bit of the footy already. He props and then kicks inside 50, and Johnson read it well, as he's done for large parts of this season. Off to McFarlane. Coach called for them to take the game on more this week against Collingwood, and that's what they've needed to do. Neal took the mark, and now Pavlich a free kick. So Matthew Pavlich called to go. He goes short, the skipper, and finds Barlow. Coming up for possession, number 7. Back to Pavlich. And back to McFarlane.
He's not taking the game on at the moment.
No, exactly the opposite to what the coach wants. And a dangerous one to McPhee. It just got there. Elliott was closing. Kick for De Boer. Almost drifted across the front of that pack. It was nearly a wonderful mark. Bottom of that pack, I think, is Blair. And the ball will be bounced just outside 50 for Freo.
Begs the question, Mick. We saw Matthew Pavlich get the ball on a lead on the wing and not having the opportunity, or sorry, the option to kick forward. Do you keep him home as a coach?
Well, you've got to come up, but they've got another tall, and the idea is that if you've got one tall up, the other one must stay back for that 50-metre kick.
So the footy worked towards the wing. Buckley was over it momentarily for Collingwood. Now Robertson wants to get it over the line, and did it go over the line? Yes, it did. Well, I guess, Tom, that's where Travis Cloke would be if Fremantle are successful in recruiting him.
Geez, what are you saying there, Baz? Is it a done deal?
Well, it's not a done deal, but there's plenty of talk about that. There's any doubt that Fremantle are very keen. We'll talk more about that at half-time with Mick Malthouse. He's certainly been in the news, Travis Cloke. Now, Zach Clark off the side of the boot. Not what he would have wanted in multicultural round. An African-American father, one of 12 players on Fremantle's list, with a parent born overseas.
Beams just off early. Will keep in contact with Kirky as to how he's travelling. Looks okay at the moment. Sends the ball forward for the Pies. A massive players around the loose ball. In the end, Jackson Payne coming in for his 4th game. Takes his man to ground.
It's interesting just looking at the stats. Fremantle have had more of the football, but when I get a ratio of 1-to-1, that's danger signs already, because that means you're under that much pressure you can't kick the football.
Griffin, the ball just sort of tries to bustle through, can't, and the ball just spills back. Griffin to Mzungu, and now to half forward territory. Swan goes back with the flight, does well. Sees the loose man. Brown's got a heap of space. He's got Marley Williams. He's just going to run and have to try and wait for the bounce. Does okay, and then just paddles it forward. Ballantyne, and in for the Dockers this week. Puts the pressure on. Enough to see it over the boundary on the outer side. So Fremantle still searching for a score, let alone a goal. We played just on 20 minutes. And this time it's Thomas who just reads the play well, pushes it forward, kicks around the corner, bouncing ball, ends up with Dawes. Heard the umpire. Jolly to Fasolo, inside 50, Cloak's the target, it'll come off hands. Cloak picks it up and goals. So the man that we were discussing, forests have been felled to fill and make the papers for the media to write about this man. Where will he be next year? Every pie hopes at the Westpac Centre as Darren Jolly starts to run towards the boundary with a bit of blood under the left eye. Cloak gets his first of the afternoon.
And this is the surge mentality of Collingwood. It was a free kick and advantage paid, and then we've got a one-on-one situation with Cloak and McPhee. Brave effort from McPhee, but when you've got that player of Cloak Silk one out, you're going to win that more often than not. That's a great bit of play by the Pies.
So Beams doing the ruck work now, or rather the big man Dawes doing the ruck work. Swan down to Wellingham, and the ball towards Cloak again, and over his head this time for a boundary throw-in. So Jolly off and pinch hitting with Dawes. It's a job he does pretty well. Throwing inside 50. Dawes again, nice work. Towards the back of the pack, it comes out Wellingham's way. Got it from Buckley. Now it's scooped up. Fremantle get it into Pavlich's hands from Pearce. Ibbotson and Neal combining to get it down there. Here's Main. Now Broughton beside the centre circles. Back to Lockie Neal. Inside the centre square. A rare thrust inside 50. It's got a bit of bounce on it, and it's gone into the post. Maybe the little bit of luck that Fremantle needed. Their first score of the afternoon. And it's come at the 21-minute mark of the first term. 3:01 behind. Collingwood 3-1-19.
Heath Shaw just being encouraged to bring the ball back in by the umpire, and he finds side bottom. He's got O'Brien over the top. He's got a lead from Blair, which is ignored, and a loose man on the outer side. Might go in that direction. It's Daisy Thomas. Takes a couple of bounces and just ambles into the Fremantle goal square, goes back to where he came and finds Brown. O'Brien short, he's ignored, and the quick ball to Marley Williams is good. Well, in the end, didn't achieve too much, but gave away 50. So Silvani's coming off a rugged week against Michael Hurley and Stuart Cremery at times.
Stay wide, Greg. Alex Marks here. Play on.
Quickly to O'Brien. Now the long ball. Who's there for the Pies? Up over the top for Solo. Not quite. De Boer, really quick gift to Barlow. He goes back, finds McFarlane. Doesn't like a lot of options ahead. Comes sideways to McPhee.
This is where the Dockers need to actually gain some meterage going forward. They've taken the sideways and sometimes the backwards kick, which plays into the hands of the Collingwood press.
McPhee, a long ball. Tall man is Griffin, but Dawes, with a bit of help from his friends, sees it over the boundaries. We see Darren Jolly just having a few running repairs down on the boundary. Kirky's in the hands of the trainers.
Yeah, nothing much there, mate. Just a little nick under the eye.
In the absence of Jolly, Dawes doing the ruck work, this time against Griffin. Muzungu around the place, watching on. Heap of Dockers just hoping their man underneath it or lower can get it out, and he can't.
I think we'll see the Collingwood forwards really isolate their defenders today. We saw last week against Essendon, the Fremantle defenders struggled one-on-one with the bigger bodies. So I think we'll see that today.
Well, very different opening term for the Dockers as opposed to Saturday night against the Bombers. Only 11 goals kicked, and they got 6 of them in that opening term. De Boer, quick little give. Robertson now to lower, off hands to Clancy Pearce. Couldn't take it first time. Went and got it again. Now he's in trouble. Dishes it off for Solo. Does well. He's electric. Gives it off to Dawes. Now to Wellingham. Towards the boundary line to Thomas. Misses his target in steel side bottom.
Both sides Mick handling a hell of a lot more than they've been kicking in the past. Freo 41 kicks, 52 handballs, and even Collingwood 39 and 40. So it's an in-close game at the minute.
Michael Barlow with 11 possessions, getting the most of it for Fremantle, in fact, for both teams. Wellingham with 8 possessions for Collingwood. Now Mundy got it to Lockie Neal, smothered well. That was well done by Blair. It fell to Elliott. He tried to swing a handball out, now called to make an attempt. He must have been doing that in there because the umpire says, I'll bounce.
Yes, it's a lot of there's a lot of close in. This is about the third or fourth smother, so that shows you how close the players are to each other.
Jolly back on the ground now and winning that hit out against Griffin.
Basil, you mentioned Barlow. I think he's getting back to the form that he got before he was injured. Last week he was very good against Essendon.
And no doubt about that, Kirky. And well, there's a few to come back into that midfield. They'd love to have Hill, they'd love to have Morabito, and they'd love to have Fife. And obviously a much different looking side, Tom and Mick, with all of those players available in the midfield.
is Barlow 1-10 though. That's the worry about it, Tommy, where you said about, and Kirky said about he's coming back to form. You'd like to see the ball going a bit more distance.
Brilliant hit out from Jolly to Swan, who throws it on the boot. The ball bounces on the goal line and at right angles, and well done McPhee. Had the presence of mind to get it across to Ibbotson, and then Ballantyne a long way from the forward pocket marks inside defensive 50 and kicks to Main, who wants to take them on. He does, looks upfield. He's got a player available. It didn't quite get there though. Well done by the Collingwood defence. They're all involved, and Swan will bring it out.
They look so confident, don't they, in their back six, and they go through. Blair to Beams to Cloak. He's already got one this afternoon. Wellingham over the top wants it. He's going to go further afield to Goldsack. Going back with a flight with Savani. Did well. Loose ball, Subin. Will end up with Robertson. He's got to be calm here. Finds his man McFarlane. Puts Main under a bit of pressure. Got rid of it quickly. Robertson couldn't handle it. And the pressure continues to come. The Pies, well, they're so good at keeping it inside their forward 50. And they keep it right on the arc now. This time it was Jackson Payne.
You, Tommy, you'd hate me playing forward line Fremantle because every time you lead, they overhand pass. It's just bizarre.
Ball just edged back into the square away from the Pies goal.
And on that point, Mick, we're really starting to see the Collingwood backline gel really well. On that occasion, Fremantle, when they came forward, had the free opponent. Harry O'Brien has got drawn up the ball, but Nick Maxwell, the skipper, came across, read the cues brilliantly, so starting to gel exceptionally well.
Saw Dane Swan.
Jared Blair being held. Collingwood free. Jared Blair against Mundy.
Yes, David Mundy.
Let him run, Alex. Clear it out.
So Jared Blair
Hands up, Luke!
searches for a target. He's now got Travis Cloak one-on-one in the goal square, and Travis Cloak's pleading for it. Gives him time for the Dockers just to get back, and they do in numbers. Goes through and over the top. Scott Pendlebury just sitting on, watching in the coach's box. Hopefully he'll be back next week. We'll speak to Scott Pendlebury throughout the afternoon. Looking forward to catching up with the Rolls Royce, spending some time, assume, in a fairly relaxed coach's box at the moment.
Collingwood by 19 points approaching quarter time. Griffith. Oh, I don't think he marked that, but he's paid the free kick against Heath Shaw. You heard the call then. And Clancy Pearce sitting down. That's a good mark by Maxwell. So the skipper getting his hands on the footy, and across to Buckley now. And how Collingwood love to attack, bringing it out of defence. Here's Marley Williams. Gathers the football, goes out wide to Goldsack. Subin chasing, looks upfield. He's got a player on. It's Cloak. He slaps it forward, down towards full forward. Well read by McPhee. It comes back though, side bottom. Handball out to Blair. They're not done with yet. This attacking thrust continues. Jolly though lost the football in his hands. Well done, O'Brien. Takes them on. He's a thumping kick. He sends it long back towards full forward. Pushing the back. It might be Thomas's free.
John Griffin, yours. Push.
Thomas doing the pushing, I think.
Yep.
Well, he might have got a secondary push, I reckon, from behind. They're out of danger, and Griffin's free kick it is.
To Mundy. Ugly sort of a ball. It's going to work out.
Oh, he's right there, Baz.
Pinball, Tommy.
Yep.
To Crowley. He's got a loose man over the top. Broughton, he can run. He's got a heap of space. Will it sit? He's got one inside too. De Boer, well, it's an interesting option. It's going to bounce, and O'Brien's got plenty of time just to pick up and run through for one behind. This is just the ricochet. Mundy into Thomas, into Griffin.
Poor option there, Hamish. He had De Boer about 10 metres in the clear on the inside.
Thanks, Kirky. Well picked up, Baz, as the Pies go through the middle. Blair.
So Blair now handballing to Reid from just backward of the centre circle. A long one out to Goldsack, who's got the footy on half forward. He's called to go. Not a lot to kick to, so a long one in the Daisy Thomas direction. McFarlane did well, got a hand in there. Subin taken high. As the siren sounds.
Well, it's been an ugly last couple of quarters, Baz. 50 points against the Dockers, just 3 to them.
Collingwood 3-2-20. Fremantle 2 behinds. It is the Magpies by 3 goals. Quarter time Saturday afternoon football at the MCG.